How's it going, guys? Let me verify that my mic's working here. And it is. So give me just 1 second. I just want to get the audio levels balanced out because I messed with them since the last time I was on. Right there, maybe? Let's show a little higher. There we go. Hopefully that works pretty good for you guys. So yes, I am on. So for those that didn't see, I made my last video just an upload. It is part 16. I'll add it to the playlist later, but it is on here. I just didn't upload it. So anywho, oh, did that come up? It did. Hopefully we will be closing the pie within the next hour. Well, not yet, not within the next hour, but soon. Because before we close it, I got something else I want to do. But last time what I ran into was after I closed it, the Teensy wasn't giving you any inputs or anything like that. So, what that actually was, I believe, was a short on the Teensy board. Should have it fixed now. Gonna obviously, try closing the pie and verifying whatnot. But then also what I ran into last time, which was a nightmare, and it took way longer than it should to fix, was that the all for one script, I'm pretty sure is what was causing it, kept shutting the pie down. So I disabled the script and temporarily disabled the script, and it wasn't an issue. As soon as so I think the voltage was reading too low, because once I set it to 1 volt and re-enabled it, it worked, so that fixed that. Anywho, that's why I went ahead and ended the video there where I did last time, because as you see now, the battery is fully charged. I gotta clean off that silicone flash, but the light diffuser works pretty well. You just can't see it in the video. But yeah, orange obviously was charging and blue is full charge, so it's full charge since the last time I tinkered with it. And the battery was pretty low, I just don't remember how low it was. Okay, so first things first, gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery charger and re-enable the boost buck. Well, boost rather, in this case. Alright, so power's on. Power's on. Obviously we have no video because it's plugged into the monitor, so give me 1 second. I'm going to plug it back into the screen now that we think we got everything figured out. Alright. And I'm not going to say what for yet, but I have a surprise for here in a little bit, and it involves these 2 wires. So let's find out. Alright, so let me So, as y'all can see, we do have video. Well, there's nothing else to scroll between, so let's just go ahead and go into RetroPie. And it's a little laggy, but I think RetroPie menu is always laggy. So, and this is with the default clock and everything, so it will hopefully improve. But at the same time, I've always kind of had issues with RetroPie menu. Maybe it's just me though. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and test power button. Bada bing, bada boom. Here, let me see if I can't get... Alright. Then we're going to go ahead and turn off the TV. Bada bing, bada boom. So, pop the TV back on. Pop the pie back on. And it's starting up. So while it does that... Oh no, I like the other light too much. This light's gonna annoy me. Give me 1 second. How hot are these? There we go. Those are big tubes for what size of a house this is, and well, how many of them there are down here. So in this part of my basement, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fluorescent 4-foot light fixtures. Well, correction, 6 fluorescent 4-foot light fixtures. One of them's LED. The LED one will obviously be coming down here eventually. So, no, I like it over here actually. Sorry. So, we have a working Pi. There we go. I don't have anything to test left and right, so let me throw PS1 ROM on real quick using my computer. Alright, so we go to window capture. Yeah, just ignore my files. Alright, I think our current IP address is 192.16, whoops, 165. Or no, shoot. 168.1.165. Username Pi, the default. Password is the normal Raspberry. And, could not connect the server. Well, screw you. There we go. Alright, so RetroPie, ROMs. Alright, and obviously I will not be showing where my ROMs are located on a live screen, but for those that have never set up a Pi before and you decide to watch this, FileZilla is a common way to do it using an SSH. Where do I have them? PS1. What's a good test? Okay, I'm using this one just because of its intro cinematic. I'm forever a fan of it, and I want to hear how it sounds on the speakers and everything like that. So give me one moment. Also, it's a game that I physically own a copy of, so ha, eat that FBI. Alright. No, most of my PS1 games I own a copy of. If not all. I don't know. I always get, whoops, that's probably trippy. Yeah, give me 1 second. I forgot to switch back. And I also accidentally opened Steam. I don't need Steam right now. Alright, so what is taking so long? Oh, it's still got 44% left, so. Change memory split to 348. Okay, I'll do that whenever I reboot it. I just want to see what it does with this. Although the game might be laggy too. We'll find out. Okay, I need more light. We're no longer using the charger. So, is that my 3.5 or 2.5? But not. Well, if this is the right outlet, I'm still going to be here. If not, I'll be right back. And it was the right outlet. I've got 2 power supplies that look identical. One of them is my Kit power supply. One of them is, crap, what is the other one? Oh, my router. Okay. That ain't helping. 1 second. Just working on this real quick. You know what? Screw this. There. Now you should be able to see the screen pretty darn good. Nope, still out of viewing angle. Ain't that gay. There we go. This will be for the, testing part of it. Which, testing on its own is going to be interesting, because I don't have all the buttons on right now. But it'll at least, show us performance and whatnot. So, let me move this out of the way. Make the viewing angle a little bit better. Alright. So, let's do it that way. Okay. So I want to well, I probably shouldn't have done that before I verified that it had finished transferring. Holy crap, it had just finished. Whew. Okay. Okay. Oh, whoops. I forgot about that. Sorry, this is probably one of my favorite songs on this playlist for some reason. Alright, IP webcam. Advanced settings. Flip. There we go. Much better. Alright. Relax, don't worry. Run away. No need to hurry. Alright. No, I don't want any night exposure. Well. Okay. What can I do to make this whitewash less? I'm not the best at, there we go. I'm not the best at lighting and stuff with cameras, but working on it. Alright, so we have left to right. Warzone 2100. Alright, so muting this. And let's hear what it sounds like. Looks like, sounds like, tastes like, is like. Also, this is without a BIOS installed, so that may cause issues, or it may not. Turning off the ventilator. That needs some settings optimization. Okay, I need to turn on the awesome mixer, or else I might wake up my wife. Okay, let's go 50%. Whoops. Alright, I want to see. Alright, obviously I'm not playing, but I want to do the intro. This was probably one of my favorite PS1 games growing up, besides Twisted Metal. Alright, let's see, we are good. So, now let's see how we do middle of the game. Well, not middle of the game, but, yep. Alright, so it still halts, no problem. Alright, so, let me go ahead and turn the lights back on and I'll show you guys what the surprise was. Also, let me turn the ventilator and music back on before I forget. Okay. Alright, so powering that off. And unplugging. Well, yeah, unplugging here for a moment. Just so I don't have to unplug it physically and plug everything in whenever I'm done. Give me 1 second. Ow! Alright. So, the surprise is... Now this is probably going to be off-center because tape gave out and it moved. There's our surprise. I've got my... This is all temporary and I'm not going to show it because someone would go, I'm calling OSHA. But, I have my 24 volt power supply hooked up to a, what is it? 10 amp? No, I think it's 30 amp actually. Hold on, I'm curious. But it's a step up, step down converter to where I can set the constant voltage and the constant current. Now, the reason we are set to 4.2 volts instead of 5.2 volts what the Pi runs on is because we are tapping into the battery ports and we are going to test power consumption. So this is literally just eliminating the batteries. It'll tell me what, I gotta fix that real quick, hold on. It'll tell me what it's drawing for volts and current, and then we'll test it at a few different loads. So we'll test, we will test the 4.2, which is max battery charge. I think 3.6 is min. We'll check on helders here in a minute. But no, I think it's 3.2 is min, sorry. But these batteries are actually rated for as low as like 2.8, I think it is. But we'll see what we set the max discharge to. So these, the normal charging and whatnot of 18650 cells is cut off at like 3.2 usually, not always. And then the charge is usually 4.2. So in this case, these are your normal charge to 4.2 volts, but then these are your normal charge to 4.2 volts, but the cell can be discharged down to 2.8. I was going to buy a box of 28 gauge wire for this project, but wasn't sure if that was then enough. For all but power, so like signal-wise, you can use whatever you want, as long as it's not power. So in this case, I think I'm using 26 or 28 log for, well, I didn't use it for sound because I wanted as little interference as possible. But like for the trim pot, for the inputs and all that, I think I'm using 28 og. It might be 26. But for the power, I think they say you need at least 24. I didn't have any. It's either 22 or 24. I didn't have any of that, so I went 16. But you definitely don't need to get that excessive. But I will say it does cause issues if you don't use the right power og that Elder suggests, and I hate to admit that because on the og sheet it should handle what I was using. My thinnest is either 26 or 28, and it's all my inputs and everything, so. Alright. Oh, power, right. Okay, so. First things first, I'm going to desolder the batteries, which I already have them disconnected from the circuit. Hey, Crash, whenever this update's on live, can you message me how to change the memory slit real quick? It's been a while since I've had to mess with it. So now I'm going to pull the positive and negative off to the side over here. And then oh yeah, I forgot to turn the music back on. Let me solder these and I'll do that. go. Alright, so music. Music make you lose control. There we go. So my phone vibrated and I want to make sure it's not my wife. Not my wife. Alright, make sure I wired these up the way I think I did. Alright, and it is indeed the way I think I did. Okay, cool. Alright, battery positive and battery negative. Dang it. There we go. Alright, so now the Pi is no longer being powered by our conventional methods. And it instead has a new power source. Variable power supply. Makeshift variable power supply, but a variable power supply nonetheless. Alright. So, right now we have no load. But we wire this bad boy in. Now mind you, this is with the power supply at 4.2 volts. I don't really have a current limit set on the power supply. I don't know what the current limit is set to, but it we don't really need to limit the current because these cells are rated to handle like 20 amps for a short burst, but they are rated to handle it. So okay, so right now we are pulling 1 point, well, okay, so let's average 1.75 to 2 amps. That's what it looks like we're pulling right now. Alright, so after the Pi is loaded up, we're rated at about 1.8. So, remember that, because I won't. No, I'm kidding, I'm going to pull up a notepad. Alright. Okay, I'm going to call this... Whoops, wrong button. That's what I'm going to call it, wrong button. Kidding. Terrible joke. But I do need to close out my all my notepad tabs. I've got way too many of them. Okay, so power consumption. Alright, at idle. Let's call this emulation station idle. We are at I'm gonna call it 1.75 amps approximately. Okay, boot. I'm gonna say we were at 1.6. Well, here we go. 1.6 to 2.0. Oh, well, not 3.0, 2.0 amps. Now, let's see what we have. Let's see what we have if we run a game. Oh, this is all at the standard clock, by the way. This isn't with our custom power settings. Okay. And oh, you scared me.
Like, you're so not.
Good morning. Alright, so this is within the game, but it's running a cinematic. Let me see what running an emulator looks like. Also, alright, so I don't need that. I need boot. Crash, what do you run your stuff at normally? If you're still here. Like, what clock rate and whatnot. Because I don't know if I have your image around at the moment. Oh wait, I should be able to actually. Let's see, so... oh yeah, I also shouldn't need this or this right now, so I'll turn those off. Give me 1 second. What was I gonna do? Oh, yeah, it's gonna look up Crash's, oh, I'm trying to do too many things at once. Okay, so, view current clock. Raspberry Pi. Crash, by stock, do you mean RetroPie stock, or do you mean the Raspberry Pi stock of 1.4? Because RetroPie stock has whatever the Raspberry Pi 1.2 clock speed was. Alright, we get current. Okay, so oh, you're good. Alright, so IP address 192.165. Or, dang it, 168.1.165. Raspberry. Alright, and in case anyone was wondering, right now the current CPU frequency is 600 megahertz. Okay, so that explains a lot. Alright. Okay, so you run... Oh, so you run 1450, not 1400. Got it. Okay, I will set it to that, and we'll see how this does current-wise. Because that's the realistic number we want to get for this build, because that's what we're going to be running it at. But I want to see if moving stuff around on the emulator... nothing too bad. Cool. Wish I had a save state of this to where it was just like crap loads of units, because I was actually able to lag the PS1, like the real hardware, with how hard I played this game whenever I was younger. So I figured that would be a real good test. I figured you would do that. Alright, and oh, right now it's at 1.4. So it's just because I don't have it at the Force Turbo, which you don't want that on a portable anyways, unless you really want it. But so it's going up to the 1.4, so I can set it to 1.45, and it probably won't make too much of a difference. Okay, so clock 1.4. Then game approximately 1.7 to 1.7 to 1.9. That's our average. Okay. And this is at 4.2 volts for everything. This is a full battery. So this is your perfect world. I want to see what it does whenever I drop the voltage. Alright, so sorry, I'm just trying to think real quick. Oh, so let's see what it does if power, before I mess with any of the power settings. I want to see what it consumes with everything shut down. Alright, so if we shut down the Pi, I didn't press the button. I thought I pressed the button. No, I pressed the button. So I wonder if it's hanging in the emulator. So let me different. So I wonder if it's because the Pi is lagging at the moment because of the memory split. Sudo shutdown now. Okay. So we're doing a shutdown. So something's hanging it, and it's probably the memory split. Okay, I might have to disable the boost buck. So I have no idea what caused that to hang, but obviously that's software, not hardware. There we go. Now it's going to reboot. We're going to wait for it to boot up and then try shutting it down again. Because I don't want to leave the boost buck off yet. I want to do that, but I want to get measurements of turning the Pi off, turning the screen off, and see what everything is. So. Alright, so now we're on. Let's try shutting down again. There we go. Oh, would you hurry up and shut down? Really? Trying to get some of that flash off while I wait. There we go. Alright. So, what in the world is causing her to hang? I don't know. But, we definitely see what power consumption the screen draws. That's pretty cool. Okay, so. Um, So it's probably the memory that's actually making it. Hang on, shutdown. Going to force shutdown. Obviously this is not Ubuntu, but it's a Debian based system. Alright, power off and power off command. No, I don't want to. Okay, let's try. It would help if I did a new thing. 192.168.1.165. Pi Raspberry. I mistyped Raspberry. Sudo shutdown dash H. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then our current draw drops down to 1.33. So not a whole lot less. Oh, but then the screen goes into a halted state and it drops down to 0.64. Now let's see what happens if we physically tell the screen to turn off. 0.60. So it cuts off for, what is it, milliamps? Yeah, milliamps, right? It's either milliamps or... I think it's milliamps. Yeah. Because it's not microamps. Now that is with the Pi off. In a halted state at 4.2 volts. Well, Pi and screen off in a halted state at 4.2 volts. Things that may be causing more draw is the teensy, but the teensy probably doesn't draw a whole lot. I'm thinking it's either the amp itself or the fact that there's still power going to the screen and it's probably drawing a good amount of juice as well. So with everything soft off, your batteries will kill themselves eventually. So let me just remember this. Well, not kill themselves, but they'll drain. Okay, so soft off 0.6 amps. Soft off screen on. Okay, so if the screen were still to be on, I think it was 0.64. Okay. 0.64. Yeah, okay, so I'm just leaving 0.64 for soft off with the screen on. So let's go ahead and, well, we'll turn everything back on. Well, no. Okay, so we'll leave it in a halted state. I'm not too surprised, Crash. Okay, so let me adjust the voltage. Once I find a flathead, there it is. Okay, so voltage. let's see. I think min power, or I think min is 3.2, but let me verify. So I'm gonna do the normal operational of these. That's expected of these cells. So I'm not gonna do the. Yeah, so I'm gonna go 3.2 volts. Obviously, the cells can go lower, but that's what the 3400 milliamp hour is rated for. So, constant current, constant voltage. Well, let's lower it down to 3.2 right before it shuts off. Alright, so 3.2 volts. So if your battery is almost dead, you're pulling almost an amp. Okay, so let's see. Now this is all at these measurements were all at 3.4 volts. Then let's do the same run through with this. 3.2 volts. Okay. So copy, and then we'll find, a happy little median after. So, not 3.4 volts. Those were 4.2 volts for everything before. Now we're at 3.2 volts. Okay, so clock 1.4. Now this is going to suck some juice. Alright, so right now, with soft off, screen on, I believe screen's on, 0.85. No. Okay, so 0.85, okay, 0.85, and then soft off, so everything off is 0.81. Then let's find out what she takes at boot. So turn the screen back on and go ahead and boot the Pi. Holy crap. You saw that, right? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in an approximate 2.7 amps. Because that jumps around a lot. Okay, and then emulation station idle. We are at 2.5 approximately. Well, let's drop that to 2.4. We'll be generous. And finally, let's see what it does whenever you run a game. Yeah, I'm just getting the measurements right now, Crash, and then I'll find out how to actually calculate it over time and whatnot later. And I'll give you a more expected battery life. Because obviously you can't just do, the amp at this measurement, amp at this measurement. You have to do basically a curve. And no, all in all, that's not bad. Because so far with everything, we have not gone over 3 amps at all. So let's see. With default measurements, so say we ran at this 2.5 amps the entire time, which obviously we don't because we dropped down to like 1.5 amps at the higher voltages. But with this, what milliamp hour were those cells? Weren't they? I think they were 3,400 milliamp hour. So 3,400 times 2 would take us to 6,800 milliamp hour cells because they're in parallel. And then divide that by 2,450. Okay, if we were running at 3.2 volts, so if our voltage didn't change at all, we would have 2.7 hours of playtime. That's without factoring in the the less current at the higher voltages. So the more you know. All right. So now that we have that, because I'm just getting 3 measurements, or not 3 measurements, but 3 oh, what do you call it? Okay, so 2.4 to 2.6 amps, right? And that's without the higher current, or the lower current at the higher voltage. So once you factor in the curve, it's probably going to be, I'm thinking at least 5, but I could be wrong. Now I'm kind of curious. Okay, so if we were to go at our, like if, so we get 2.7 hours if we were to stay at that 3.2 volts. So 2.7 hours. This is just for my memory's sake. And then if we were to do it at the 4.2 volts, yeah, just start a timer, you know. Oh, I started this time, and then it shut off. And I'm gonna set Helder's power down script a little bit lower, just because I don't think it reads. Yeah, day 1, because I don't think it reads accurately, 100% accurately. So that's the other limiting factor, is how accurate Helder's power script reads. If it reads perfect voltage, it'll go, till I'm going to set to 3.0 volts, because these cells can be discharged safely to 2.8. So 3.0 is a good safe spot. It's below the 3.2 that most 18650 cells are rated for, but then it's above the 2.8 max discharge. So I'll set it up to turn off at 3.1 or 3.0. So now doing, let's see, what's the highest? Okay, so we were between 1.7 and 1.9 amps on 4.2 volts. So let's go with crap. What was our? I was doing 3,400 milliamp hour cells. So 34 times 2, then divide by 1.8 amps. All right, and oh, I stand corrected. Or my math sucks. I don't remember. Okay, now I want to find out. Give me 1 second. Battery life. Because that only takes it up to 3.7, so probably about 3 hours of playtime. 3.5, maybe 4. Well, no, it couldn't be 4. Okay. Yeah, and that was, let's see, that was with 3.2 volts. Alright, battery capacity. So 34 times 2 which would be 6800 milliamp hour. Yeah, I know my mouse sucks. Okay, the factor of 0.7 for amperes. Okay, so I guess this we would do like the average of, because it's asking for consumption, but consumption changes based on your voltage, and your voltage changes based on how much charge is left. Okay, so I'm just going to do min and max and find the average. So game goes up to, okay, so 1.8 versus 2.6. So let's see, 2.6 plus 1.9 divided by 2. Okay, so 2.25 is our consumption average. So that would be, how much is that in milliamp hours, or milliamps? 2.25. I think it's 2250. Okay, calculating runtime. Okay, this thing is just retarded. Because on this it's saying 2.1 hours. It should be... Okay, so right now we're... just plan for 3.5 hours, maybe 4. But it won't be the less than 3. I know that. Or at least it shouldn't be less than 3. Alright. So, I'm not going to lie, I'm taking the measurements and then I'm going to post them online for someone that's better at calculating, battery curves than I am. Because I suck at it. Alright, so let's set our next measurement to 3. Let's see, we have 3.2 and 4.2. 3.7 is nominal, right? That's what these cells are considered. Okay, so let's go 3.7 because it's almost in the middle. Okay. Give me 1 second. Alright. Maybe. That one is a little bit, depending on the load. Okay. So basically, probably. That would probably help if I learned how to read it. But right now I'm going to get measurements, that way I can close it up and get it sent to you, and I can calculate all that after. Okay, so emulation station. Oops, wrong button. Boom, 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 boom. There was supposed to be a sequel for this game, and then they got bought out by, I think, EA. I think. Sad face. It was either EA or Activision. No, Activision was, I believe Activision was Metal Arms. Alright, so let me go ahead and set everything for... Let me go ahead and shut it down. And I'll turn off the screen. And that takes us down to our minimum load. And I'm going to adjust it for 3.7 volts now. Okay. Whoop. .8. Okay, so 3.7 at idle. We are drawing, well, not idle, at power off, soft off, with screen off. We are at 0.7 amps. Alright, soft off, screen on. We are probably going to be at 0.73. Come on, go back to your low power state. Zero 0.74. Okay, 7.4. So leaving the screen on isn't a big deal breaker if you ever just want to soft off the Pi, but it is there for you to control. Alright, so now let's turn the Pi on. And then also, Crash, if you want to mess around with battery life, you can always also, since your computer is going to be doing all the hard work, you could probably throttle back the clock. But I don't know. Okay, so we were getting up to what? I wasn't paying attention. Was it 2.4? Crap. Oh, I might as well get an idle measurement, so give me 1 second for that to balance out. Alright, so 2.03 amps. That sounds good. Alright, so let me turn it back off. I bet it hangs. Or no, it won't. We got past whatever was causing it to hang. I forgot about that. Alright, so let's start her up. I said let's start her up. There we go. Alright, so 2.3. Is that the highest we go? Okay, cool. These ones aren't really needed for battery life calculation, because it's just 2.45. They're not really needed for battery calculation, but it's just nice to know. I mean, you know. Alright, so with the game running, we're about 2.0 to 2.1, right? Let's go ahead and set that to 2.2. Okay. So let me skip the cutscene. And obviously, as you see with the screen, you're going to have to mess with your video resolutions if you weren't here for that earlier, Crash. So. Alright. Briefing commences. Video doesn't put as much of a load as, actual gameplay, so I just want to see. Alright. .2 is a good measurement. Alright. So that gives you some ideas of what it's going to take for power consumption. So let me shut this bad boy down. Let's see if it hangs while it's in the emulator again, like it did before. Because I'm kind of curious. And it most likely is the memory split that's causing that. Because emulator, if it's got memory tied up for this, it can't tie up memory for shutting down and whatnot. So the operating system probably doesn't have enough memory to shut down properly. That's why the command options I gave it didn't really care whenever I did it over SSH. So, but that's fine because the next thing I wanted to test doesn't require the Pi to be on, but it does give me some power consumption ideas. Alright, so this is with the buck boost disabled. So the Pi will be off. Well, everything will be off, but the power to the batteries is still on, meaning it could still theoretically put drain on the system. And the reason why I'm getting this number is for whenever you're charging, so you know how much loss you have. So buck disabled. Well, it's actually buck boost, but boost buck, whatever. Alright, did I get it fully out? Yes, I did. Okay. So, okay. So with the buck boost disabled, it's effectively drawing nothing. I mean, it does still technically have a little bit of draw because it is still connected, but it's outside of the measurement of this system, meaning that as far as we're concerned, effectively nothing. So let me go down to 3.2 volts. Yep, so bada bing, bada boom. Nothing. Alright. Which I think this amp meter does have like a minimum measure range. I can look it up later, but we're good on that. Meaning I can disable the power supply. Alright, power supply is disabled. And now I'm going to turn it back on, turn the soldering iron back on, and solder everything back up, and attempt to close. Alright. So, sorry if anyone has motion sickness. So now that we no longer need to see the screen input, I'm going to toss that fluorescent tube back in. There we go. Alright. So, let me unplug this HDMI cord. There we go. Unplug this power supply after I throw some but yeah, Krish, I didn't think you would mind me spending a little bit of extra time just to get some consumption measurements. Especially since I saw you have a new project of your own. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So now to wire the batteries back in. Actually, before I do, I want to see what the battery's current voltage are. We can go back to the normal top view. There we go. Okay, with the batteries powered on, well, there we go. We're at 3.6, it looks like. Oh, 4.1. Cool. 4.111. Yeah, 4.111. Okay, so now I kill power to the batteries. And then okay, nothing else should need wired up. Except for these ones, which... Oh, real quick, I gotta do a little bit of case modification. So the volume wheel is still rubbing. Okay, 1 second. Overhead plate isn't needed currently. No, just use this one. Alright. Muting microphone. Alright, so if this is not trimmed to size, I'll have to do it a little bit later. I will be back later on this evening. I've got to go do some stuff with my wife before she goes to work. But I'm gonna pop this flash out before I forget. Alright. So we will find out later on if that is enough or if I need to Dremel out some more. But we have some power consumption and, well, consumption information rather, and everything should be good. So I just want to pop this on real quick one more time before I go up. Now obviously not everything is closed, but I don't have the ribbon cable on. I'll do that later. Alright, I need to go. I'll be back later.